Okay, I hope you all have this book, The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas. Please raise your hands if you do not have. Oh, Nimala, copy to it. Okay, raise your hands, raise your hands. Palasha, yes, Vivek. Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. Let us turn to page 3. Given that the purpose of this class, unlike the many of the other studies, the purpose is to eventually keep yourself calm, peaceful, happy, and that you're able to have a socially adjustable nature where you can adjust yourself so well with the whatever situation, societal situation that you are in, that you are happy, that people around you are happy because of your influence. So because that this is a purpose, unlike many other studies, and the motivation plays a very important role. Motivation. And for the motivation, there are 3 things to keep in mind. 1, the refuge field. Number 2, bodhicitta field. Number 3, the purpose of this class. And the refuge field, seek inspiration and blessings from all the enlightened beings. Such as, say, what we're learning here is from Buddha Shakyamuni, and which, in fact, the content matter which is being shared with the teachings of many of the other enlightened beings. So for that matter, just visualize Buddha Shakyamuni and all the enlightened beings in front of you. Say the books that you've read, or the inspirational stories that you've heard about. For example, which I used to share with people, the story of Jesus Christ. So like this. So whatever inspiration that you get from the other sources, you can bring those enlightened beings in your mind. And say today, here we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama on this earth. So we can visualize him and visualize all the sources of inspiration. And while you visualize this, one thing which is so very important for us is visualize these sources of inspiration as your very affectionate parents, and you visualize yourself. Imagine coming home from the school and demoralized, the elder children bullied you, and your parents, they are so kindly, so affectionately waiting to embrace you with total love, affection, embrace. To the extent that each one of us feels ourselves as so special in their eyes. Okay, this is what we do at first. This is refuge field. Number 2, bodhicitta field. Visualize your 2 parents on the 2 sides. And should you have difficulties with your parents, so particularly this is a situation with the modern day, the problem is the people are educated, become educated, and because of this, as the children, they reach age 16, 17, 18, like the young adult, so there the conflict with the parents tend to emerge. So now this is a clear indication. When you're not educated, then this conflict is much less. And as you become more educated, this is a trend that the conflict with the ideas, with the thought processes of your parents and yours. There's a conflict happening, because of which you may not like your parents. But what we are doing here, this is an amazing thing. Finally, simply because you are, say, if you are not, you don't gel so well with your parents, so you are very unhappy yourself. You are very unhappy. Whereas if you gel with your parents so much, this is amazing. You are very lucky. Your parents also very lucky. But the point is, what the class that we are doing here, this is to encourage us and to learn from this how to transcend the ordinary people's thinking, which means that, say what is the mark of ordinariness? Is just look at how the people behave. People behave, say, we tend to become more educated, you become more self-sufficient. Then the majority of the people, they have some problem with their parents, which means that this is how the ordinary people behave. If the water is flowing from east to west, the river is flowing from east to west, majority of the people will flow with the current, right? Only one or two can cross against the current. That is special. Somebody who can cross against the current of the river, these people are special. So whereas to flow with the current is very easy. This is how the ordinary people do, right? So to have conflict with the parents, this is very easy, what ordinary people do. Whereas if you're able to see this, where, okay, you remember the kindness of your parents when you were age 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when you were so vulnerable and your parents were there to give full love and affection. If you could go back in time and remember the kindness and then not take for granted their love and affection, this is what the ordinary people cannot do. Now our job here is to transcend the ordinariness. How? By displaying the qualities which the ordinary people cannot do, right? Where you can easily forget the kindness of parents, but you're not forgetting it. And yet you excel in all other things, plus you respect, love, and so forth. The way your parents treated you so nicely, so kindly, so affectionately, when you needed your parents the most, now you become self-sufficient, and the parents need your support, need your love and affection. So there, if you're able to repay this kindness, this is a sign of the strength. This is a sign of the wisdom, right? So this is what we should be visualizing. Your two parents on your two sides, and all your family members, including your children around you, and in fact, everyone, human beings, animals, insects, spirits, then the celestial beings, everyone around you. And imagine that you are inspiring them. When you were young, your parents guide you. Now, here in this case, you visualize that you are like the parents, and all other, including your parents, are like your children, right? So with this mind, with so much love and affection, you are there to give full love and affection, attention to all the dear sentient beings. Okay. And the purpose of this class is, as the Buddha indicated, even if you have a brilliant eyesight, but if you don't have the light, you cannot see anything. Likewise, without the knowledge, even if you have a brilliant mind, you will not know what to adopt and what to discard. So with this mind, what we are learning is how to eventually be kind to yourself, point 1. Point 2, how to be wisely kind to yourself. So these are 2 points, right? For that matter, say how to do it. How to do it, this is what we're learning here. In other words, the treasure of happiness is within each one of us. As we learned in the last class, the treasure of happiness, the final treasure of happiness is within each one of us. And say the enlightened beings, such as say the Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir, and the Guru Nanak, Abraham, then Bhola, all these enlightened beings, the source of happiness that they have and the source of happiness that each one of us we have is the same. There's no difference. The only difference is what we have learned earlier was like the 2 diamonds. Comparing the 2 diamonds, one diamond which is so clean and the other diamond which you pick up from a ditch. very dirty, filthy outside. Ordinary people may throw this diamond and cherish the very clean one, but in the eyes of the diamond experts, they will see these two diamonds the same. Inside, there's no difference, right? Likewise, we all have, each one of us, whether you're Buddhist or not, whether you're believer or not, whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jain, it doesn't matter. Whether you're male or female, whether you're high caste, low caste, it doesn't matter. What social status you have, it doesn't matter. We all have the same potential of perfection. Each one of us, we have that same potential of perfection. So that is to be activated. How to activate this? This is what we are learning from this class. Okay, this is how this class is different from other the studies. Okay, with that in mind, let us turn to page 3, and you are leading this, and all sentient beings, you are inspiring all sentient beings to pursue this journey, of discovering the ultimate treasure happiness that exists within each one of us. And you are leading this, and everyone is joining you, and all the enlightened beings, they are watching us. Okay. And used by great compassion, you taught them accurate dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught them accurate dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And used by great compassion, you taught them accurate dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of past courses whose have been migrated to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subdue us expound a variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay. Now, as we recite this mantra, let us be mindful of the meaning of this mantra, which we already explained earlier. And should they be okay? How many of you did not hear the meaning of this mantra before? Okay, so what I will do is that I will quickly explain the meaning of this mantra. The meaning is actually down there, but how to correlate the word meaning of the mantra. Om symbolizes that Om is consisted of 3 letters. A, U, Ma. A, U, Ma. So this is common between Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and the very likely Sikhism. So this is something common. The Om is consisted of 3 letters, A, U, Ma, and these 3 letters, they symbolize the body, speech, and mind. So when we say Om, this should remind us of the body, speech, and mind of us, our own body, speech, and mind, which are defiled at the moment, which have so much of shortcomings, limitations. And meanwhile, the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened beings. Enlightened being meaning that when you are the ultimate treasure happiness, Tathagata Garbha, Buddha nature, within. When that is activated fully, your body, speech, and mind will change into the body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being. Meaning that your body at the moment, which has so many limitations, so many, say the drawbacks, right? For example, say when the temperature shoots up to 46 degrees centigrade, what would you say? Oh, it's so hot outside. We never say that my body is so weak, right? We say that the external weather is so hot, right? We never complain about our body. But in fact, it is because our body is so weak that it cannot bear this heat. Now, if this treasure inside, referred to as the Tathagata Garbha, like the purity of the water, like the purity of the mind, when it comes out fully, your body will have the capacity to bear 1,000 million degrees of centigrade. They cannot affect you. At the moment, even 40 degrees centigrade can affect us, right? We have to reach out to a cold, the chilly water to drink, right? Okay, so the body and speech. Say what comes out is very nasty, right? Our speech. Yes, you agree with me, right? We talk something, it easily offends someone else, right? So this is how our speech is so defiled. Okay, and the mind even worse, right? We think of the other person, instantly we are being very judgmental, and anger, attachment, jealousy, comfort, all these negative thoughts. But these defilements, they are not the true nature of you. These are the adventitious nature. These can be eliminated, right? From the dirty water, the dirt can be removed, and the purity will come out from within. You don't have to introduce purity from outside. Likewise, all these mental dirts, physical, verbal, mental, all can be removed and the purity will come out, right? It is not to be believed. This is something which we must gain conviction through rationality. This is so important. Okay, so Om symbolizes Om. As we recite the syllable Om, it should remind us that I should change the defiled body, defiled speech, and the defiled mind that I have into the very pure body, pure speech, and pure mind of the enlightened being. Right? At that point, you become perfect. Okay. Now, some people may say that, oh, perfection, human beings cannot be perfect. So these debates are there, right? So always, there's no point in, say, debating without knowing the context. So when somebody comes to debate with you, right? So simply be a good listener. This is so important. Be a good listener, and then see what the other person is saying, what the other person is referring to when the other person says that human beings cannot be perfect, right? There are some traditions which believe that human beings cannot be perfect. As long as you're a human being, you are defective. But the connotation is very different. What they mean by perfection and what is being referred to as perfect here, this to bear very different connotations, right? So in their case, perfection has a connotation of having the power of the creativity, having the power to create the entire universe and so forth. But here the perfection is different. Perfection in terms of perfect happiness and perfect in having eliminated suffering altogether. What you want is, I want happiness. What you don't want is, I don't want suffering. So you become perfect in that sense, right? Not in other senses. Okay, for example, let's say the president of Tibet House, right? In India, how many presidents are there? Only one president. But Tibet also has a president. And India Habitat Center also has a president, right? Okay, so president in the context of a nation and president in the context of the smaller communities. These two, with the same label, the reference are different. You getting it? Same label, but the reference are different. Likewise, perfection. The same label, but the reference are different. You're getting it? This is so important. Okay. So this maybe it is more the job of the lawyers, right? The same reference, the same label, but different labels, right? This is their job, okay, to classify these things and go into the nuances. Okay, so the point is Om. Om, Ye Dharma. Now the next is how to change this body, speech and mind that I have into the very pure body, pure speech, pure mind of the enlightened beings. How can I transform this? It is done through the following. How? The defilements, the dirty water, don't pour off the water. Simply remove the dirts. Keep the water. Remove the dirts. Purity will come out from within. You don't have to bring purity from outside. You agree with me? Is this something that you have to believe in, or you're actually convinced of that? You're convinced of that. If I remove the dirt from the water, the purity of the water, I don't have to bring from outside. It's already from within, it will become manifest. For example, all the mineral water, the bottled water that we get from the market, so they're all like this. They all come from the dirty water, the treated with the processes like reverse osmosis, then ultrafiltration and so forth. Through these processes, that the dirt was separated. Then the purity comes out from inside, from the within, right? You don't have to bring it from outside. And our mind is just the same. So just remove the dirt. The next question is how to remove the dirt. To remove the dirt, first we have to know what are the causes of these dirts. What are the causes of these dirts? So it says, Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. These phenomena of the mental pains. What do you dislike? These phenomena, they arise, Om Ye Dharma, these phenomena particularly referring to the miseries, the pains that we go through. Om Ye Dharma, these phenomena, Hetu, cause, Prabhava, arise. These phenomena arise from causes. It's not that they arise randomly, they arise causelessly. No, they arise from their causes. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. Hetum Tesham Tathagato. Hetum, plural form of cause. Tesham, these causes. What these causes are, what these causes of the miseries are, Tathagato Hyavatat. Tathagato means the Buddha, enlightened one, the Buddha. Hyavatat. Hyavatat means taught. What these causes are, what causes of miseries are, is taught by the Tathagata. Hyavatat. Desham Chayo Nirodha. Desham Chayo, Desham again these, Chayo again the plural form, Desham Chayo Nirodha. So these causes, these referring to these causes of the miseries, these causes, Nirodha means the cessation. How to bring an end to these causes. Nirodha, Evam. Evam is thus. Thus, Vadi is taught. Taught or indicated, taught. Evam Vadi, who taught this? Mahashramana, the great saint, the great enlightened being. Mahashramana, Yesvaha. Yesvaha is, this is established thus. Okay, so this meaning. In short, what is being said, the meaning as you read from the meaning down there, all phenomena arise from causes, meaning all phenomena, particularly cause the phenomena of miseries, the pains that we go through. For example, say when we go through difficult times, right? Difficult times, so depressing at times. Okay, by the way, tell me, just raise your hands. There may be some lucky ones who never went through depressing times. Raise your hands who never went through any depressing times in your life. Okay, one very young, yeah. Okay, except for the very young ones, because they are under the shelter of the parents, right? Okay, so let's say somebody who is older than 20 years. Older than 20 years, and who went through depressive times in their life? 1 time or 2 times, 3 times? Raise your hands. Okay. Who never went through depressive times? You're already in your 20s. Raise your hands. Okay. Okay, which means that we all went through very depressing times. And say, when we really go through depressing times, it's so painful. Do you agree with me? Do I have to prove that, or you already expert in it? We're all expert in it, including myself, right? We're already expert in this. Okay, so now the point is that these miseries which I dislike, we tend to forget these things. We experience them. When we go through these experiences, so acutely painful, right? So depressing, and so like the whole world collapses, whole world is so gloomy. And then the little light comes, and you forget the pains, right? You forget the pains. Again, the pains come. Again, you feel so demoralized, as though you never experienced any happiness before, right? Okay, this is so demoralizing, what the reality is. But there is a way out. There's a way out. Okay, so with this, the point is that all these problems, don't think that they come randomly. If you really want to get rid of this problem, then first check what are the causes of these problems, the source of this problem. Check the sources, and then see if you can stop the sources. For example, one analogy that I give is that if you are in a, say, fourth story, this is your apartment, 4th story, and say the room is a little damp every day. You are in Delhi, 4th story, room is damp every day, right? Okay, because of which you have, with the dampness, what's the usual problems? Health issues? Asthma one.
Pains in the body aches and pains.
Body pains, yes, body pains, and arthritis, yes. Huh? Allergies, yes. Okay, these problems are there, right? Okay, now, just tell me, why I'm creating this scenario is what we are learning, to make sure that we really understand what we are learning. This is so important. To make sure that we gain conviction in what we've learned, what we're learning. You're getting it? Okay, let's say that I'm on the 4th floor and my flat is very damp, and I have the arthritis problem, I have the asthma problem, right? And then I know that it's because of the dampness. And what I do, every week I go to hospital. Every week I go to hospital for the treatment, right? Okay, if you are my mother, or if you are my, say, very affectionate brother, will you continue to encourage me to go to hospital, to always take the tablets every week, or what will you advise me to do?
Change the apartment.
Change the apartment. Oh, it's very expensive. I don't have that much.
Try to remove the dampness.
Yes, the Palasha?
Yes, sir.
What did you say?
To remove the dampness.
Wow, that's why, rather than changing the flat, right? Changing flat is very expensive. I don't have this much money, right? And then on top of that, 4th floor, there's no lift. And taking all the bed, all these things down. Again, the next 4th floor is terrible. I don't want to do it, right? So Palasha said one thing. What did you say? Remove the dampness. Okay, how should I remove the dampness? Is Delhi in the month of May, June, July, whole year round is damp, right? How should you remove the dampness? Anyone? No experience. I see. Now the reason why you came for the diploma course. Huh?
Put the heater.
Put the heater, okay. Put the heater on. Okay, one choice, but its temperature is so high. Already 46 degrees centigrade, you put the heater on, then you'll be cooked. Okay. Okay, any other idea? Tell me. Huh?
Mine used
Huh?
Cleaning.
Cleaning. Okay, clean the house, and the dampness will go into the what, dustbin?
Check the leakage.
Okay. Good. Say it again.
Check the leakage.
Why did you not say this before? Why did you ask me to go to the next flat? What she's saying is, don't just think of the making it dry with the other sources, because Delhi 4th floor is not a ground floor. Ground floor means from the ground there must be water coming, right? 4th floor means generally under general situation there should be no dampness on the 4th floor in Delhi. You're getting it? If there's a dampness, this is an indication of what? There's leakage happening somewhere. Leakage is happening. You're getting it? And leakage, you stop it once, the problem is over. Whereas you continue putting the AC, first of all to 47 degrees centigrade, plus another, 10 degrees centigrade, 57 degrees centigrade, you'll be cooked. Right? And then clean every day. I don't have time. I have to come to Tibet house. Right? Okay, then what else? Who said something else? Okay, so now the wisest thing is, instead of going for all these things, first check the source, the cause of this problem. The cause must be a leakage. Right? Once you identify the leakage, stop it. Stop the leakage, then the problem is over. The dampness is over now. You agree with me? The point is that when you go through the miseries, it is so important to identify the cause of the problem. Very good. Okay, this should be the takeaway from diploma course, right? One. Okay. Do you identify? Do you see this as something takeaway from diploma course, or you know this already? You know this already? All right. Okay. So you will, if you know this already, you will never ask me to change the flat. Right? You will never ask me to put the AC, to put the what? Heater on. You're getting it? You will never ask me to clean it every day. Right? Okay, which means that this is not our mentality. Now we have to acquire the new mentality, very rational mentality, to check the cause and stop the cause, and the result will automatically come to an end. You getting it? Why I'm saying this is not a joke. Why I'm saying this is, this is what I've actually met someone. You may feel it funny, but actually we are also in the same boat. The way the answer is given, we are in the same boat. Okay, the gentleman, once I met him, and then he told me that, okay, Gisela, please give me some advice. What advice do you want? So he said that I always meet with psychiatrists. Right? Okay, why? I have the depression problem. Fine. So what do? So what the psychiatrist suggests you to do? Psychiatrists, prescribed me some medicines. I'm always taking medicines. Then I asked him, what's the reason of the depression? Then he said, because of my boss. Hey, now listen. Think very carefully, right? If you understand this fully, many of the problems, whether health issues, environmental issues, economy, family, right? Many issues can be solved very easily. In all these disciplines, people don't track the causes. They try to go for the symptomatic treatment. Like, if there is the pimple coming here, you try to, say, remove the pimple here. Why this pimple is coming? Because of impure blood, because of problem in the liver, problem in the kidney. Not looking for these causes, just doing a symptomatic treatment. So this is where we're going wrong. So this poor gentleman, he was taking medicines, the medicine from these psychiatrists, antidepressant, which is actually poison. You getting it? Every day consuming poison and not rectifying the root cause. What's the root cause? The boss. The boss is very unfair towards him. As long as he's with the boss, the constant flow of the dampness is happening. Leakage is constantly happening. And the dampness is every day happening. And to remove this just temporary relief, you take the medicine which is poison. You're getting it? So what will you do, tell me? If you are the advisor or if you are that gentleman, what will you do? You continue to go to the psychiatrist and take the antidepressant medicine? Or what will you do?
Change the job.
Huh? Okay.
Either change the job or have a dialogue with the boss.
Yeah,
Have a dialogue with the boss. Somehow that should be tackled. As long as you don't tackle this, you have to continue to consume the poisons, antidepressants. Poisons. These will have adverse effect on your health. You're getting it? Okay, so therefore it says, Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantatagato. So these problems, they arise from causes, and causes must be identified and removed. Then all the miseries will come to an end. For that, what are the causes? First, we have to identify these causes so well. So the classes that we are doing now, development course, this is primarily for us to identify what the causes are and what remedies to apply to overcome that. Okay, we'll recite this 3 times. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantatagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantatagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantatagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessational causes as well, taught by the great seer. Okay, page 6. Okay, now for your information, many of the stanzas, if I'm to explain them now, right, they are very condensed. They are very condensed in meaning. So therefore, it will confuse us at this stage. So first we'll just read them, and whatever little that you understand it is fine. So later on, as we go deeper into the development cause, then we will try to explain each of these stanzas one by one, right? For the time being, we'll start, because if just this stanza, which we're going to read now, stanza page 6, the first stanza. If I explain this, we have to finish all the development course, without which one cannot really understand it. Fine, still is, later on you'll realize that this is a very, very precious stanza. Okay. Profound, peaceful elaboration free, clear-eyed and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I've returned to the words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space, is the origin of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I be obeisance. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all, I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain in give teachings until the end of expanse of billions of aeons. A Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech for all bewildered miseries glow. If you attach to this line, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you attach to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you attach to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, Heart Sutra Mantra, which is on page 31. Page 31, Heart Sutra. We'll just recite the mantra. As we recite this mantra, the meaning in simple terms, the meaning is to cleanse our mind, finally to discover the ultimate treasure of happiness that each one of us has. Yet why it is not visible at the moment? Because that is like a gold mixed with the soil. When the gold is mixed with the soil, the gold is not visible. Gold, ideally speaking, the gold should be glowing, shining, but when mixed with the soil, it doesn't glow. You don't see any clue that the gold is there. But the gold experts can see the gold here. And how does the gold expert convince us of the presence? That is by slowly removing the dirt, remove the soil. As the soil is removed, slowly the gold inside will start to glow, right? Okay. The more the soil you remove, the more the gold inside will glow. Okay. So for that, what determines that the gold inside glows vibrantly? What determines that? The more you remove the dirt, right? Okay. So here, Gade Tyatha, Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Buddhiswaha, the meaning is to, let's say, the gold inside, the gold of the ultimate treasure is within each one of us. At the moment, why that is not visible is because that is mixed with the stain of the metal stains, metal defilements. So we have to remove the stain one by one. As we remove the stain one by one, slowly the gold inside, the ultimate treasure, the treasure happens within you, will start to glow, right? And say just as for somebody to remove the tuberculosis bacteria, to remove that, it'll take, today, it takes like 6 months. 6 months. So it happens in process, right? First phase is gone, second phase of tuberculosis is gone, then the healing starts to take place. Likewise, the metal stain is removed in 5 different steps. Gate first, second gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhiswam. And later on, you will come to realize what these 5 are. For the time being, if we go through this, it'll take us so much of time. For time we recite, it should be just a reminder for us that finally my job is to, when the problem is there, instead of blaming outside, see how I can blame the metal stains. When the metal stains are gone, you become like a sun. You become like a sun. No cloud, nothing can obstruct you. We may not see the sun. We see the sun to be obstructed, but the sun is not obstructed because it is just the cloud which is between us and the sun. You cross the cloud and the sun is brilliant in the air. So each one of us will become like a sun where no obstacle can obstruct you anymore. You getting it? Okay. So we'll recite this the 7 times. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha Tyatha Om Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyatha 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 Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Okay, today the topic is Four Noble Truths and the 16 aspects. So in fact, what I'd like to do is the three wheels of the Buddha's teaching, then the Four Noble Truths, and the 12 cycles of the teaching on Four Noble Truths and 16 aspects. So this is going to be a little modification of the topic. Say the three wheels of the Buddha's teaching, Four Noble Truths, then the 12 cycles or 12 repetitions of the Four Noble Truths, and then the 16 aspects of the Four Noble Truths. So these are the topics to be covered as part of this. So we may require, like, say, another, at the minimum, 2 or 3 sessions. Okay. So last time what we were doing was the biography of the Buddha Shakyamuni, and then on that basis we got conviction that the Buddha Shakyamuni, he discovered, he did not invent, he discovered that each one of us, we have the ultimate treasure of happiness, which is also referred to as the Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata Garbha, the ultimate treasure of happiness, also known as the Buddha nature. Buddha nature, it doesn't mean that Buddhism, right? It has nothing to do with Buddhism. So Buddha nature means, Buddha means awakened, fully awakened, right? So you become fully awakened. So if there anybody, whether you're Buddhist, non-Buddhist, anybody who's fully awakened, that person is known as Buddha. So that seed of the awakening is known as Buddha nature or Tathagata Garbha. Okay, so this is what we have learned. We learned that each one of us, no matter what religion that you're following, whether you're male, female, or whether you are educated or uneducated, young, old, or whether you are, say, from this religion, that religion, what caste, everyone has the same potential, right? Seed of perfection is within each one of us. Each one of us. By no means the potential that you have is inferior to mine. By no means the potential that you have is inferior to the Buddha's enlightened being's potential, right? It's just all the same. Now, if this is something, a reality, with the example of the dirty water, remove the dirt and the purity come out from inside. The purity should not be sought from outside. Okay, if this is the reality of a mind, the treasure of happiness is within us, the next question is, Okay, how can we discover this? So, to discover this, last time what we read from this morning also, no, not this morning, just a few minutes ago, we read that on page 7, we read the second paragraph, the second stanza. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove the miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by the teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. So now this is the only way. It is like, say, it is where the Prince Siddhartha, he experienced this ultimate awakening. He experienced that, and then he has to share this with us. He discovered that there's a treasure happens within each one of us. So his job is to help us to discover that by what we read just immediately before that, the page 4, the second last paragraph, second last stanza. It reads, "The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit all sentient beings, the teacher, the Sugata, the protector, to you I make prostrations." Right? From there, the purpose for him is to benefit all beings, let them discover their own treasure within them. Right? How? By giving teachings. Okay. Now, what teachings he gave after becoming enlightened? This is the next question. So for that, what happened was that the Buddha Shakyamuni is, where did he achieve enlightenment? In Bodh Gaya, under the Bodhi tree, in Bodh Gaya, right? Okay, how many of you have been there in Bodh Gaya? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, many of you, right? Okay. So there, under the Bodhi tree, he became enlightened. He achieved enlightenment. And after achieving enlightenment, his job initially was intended to help others, protect others by teaching them, not by transferring his spiritual realizations, but teaching them, by teaching the light of the wisdom. But for 49 days, he did not teach. The Buddha did not teach for 49 days. He remained silent, just gazing at the tree, and just remained silent for 49 days. Then, the kings of the heavenly beings, the kings of the Devas and Devis, Brahma, Indra, through the clairvoyance, they sensed that in Jambudvipa, the planet Earth, on planet Earth, Prince Siddhartha achieved enlightenment. And now already 49 days passed, still he is not engaged in giving teachings to the beings. So what they did was that 2 of them, Brahma and Indra, the kings of the celestial beings, they became very concerned. So they descended on the earth. They made prostrations to the Buddha Shakyamuni. And made the request, please don't remain silent. Please turn the wheel of Dharma. Turn the wheel of Dharma is a metaphor. It's a very nice way. It's a metaphor for giving teachings. Please start to give teachings. So the metaphor used was, please turn the wheel of Dharma. Then the Buddha Shakyamuni, okay, why I said this stanza very difficult. Page 6. Page 6, the first stanza. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, and non-compulsive. Such is the nectar-like Dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll retire to the woods. In Tibetan, substituted with Dumache, Dusita Bichushi Kuyuni, Sula Shagan, Kor Menube, Mimanaganos never said. This is the Tibetan version. So the English version is this: profound, peaceful, elaboration, free, clear light, and non-compulsive. Such is the natural Dharma I've discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the world. So this is the reply given by the Buddha Shakyamuni to Indra and Brahma, saying that the path, the truth, the Dharma that I've discovered is so profound. It's so profound, which I don't see people around me can fathom this teaching. fathom the depth of this teaching. So there's no point. So therefore, I rather feel, they feel like retiring or being into the woods in their own contemplation. This was what the Buddha Shakyamuni replied. And then Indra and Brahma, they made more prostrations and pleaded the Buddha Shakyamuni, please don't remain silent, please turn the wheel of Dharma. Then the Buddha Shakyamuni turned 3 wheels of Dharma. 3 wheels of Dharma. Of course, the Buddha Shakyamuni taught so many teachings. He achieved enlightenment at the age of 35, 36, 29. He left the palace. Then for 6 years total, on the austerity or the seclusion, meditation. And then finally, at the age of 35, he became enlightened. So from 35 till 81 he assumed Mahaparinirvana, passed away, Mahaparinirvana. So till that, like 46 years, the Buddha Shakyamuni gave lots of teachings. All these teachings somehow can be summarized into what is known as 3 turnings of the wheel of Dharma. All teachings of the Buddha can be summarized into what is known as 3 turnings of the wheel of Dharma, or 3 wheels of Dharma. 3 wheels of Dharma, right? Okay. So, what are the 3 wheels of the Dharma? This is what we have to know in general. First, after the request made by Indra and Brahma, then the Buddha Shakyamuni went towards Sarnath, Varanasi. From Bodh Gaya, he headed towards Varanasi, Sarnath. Okay, so historically speaking, what happened was that to repay the kindness of his 2 teachers. Who were 2 teachers? The first one, the Acharya Alara Kalam, and the second teacher, Acharya Udreka, right? Udreka. Okay, the names may differ from a little bit Sanskrit, Pali. Okay, so first one is Acharya Alara Kalam, and the second one is Acharya Udreka. So, in order to repay the kindness of these 2 teachers, Buddha Shakyamuni, through his clairvoyance, he was looking for where these 2 teachers were abiding. And then the people around, somehow the Buddha was informed, and through his clairvoyance, he came to realize that both of them already passed away. Right? And then he was looking for to whom to give the first turning. So there were 5 ascetics. 5 ascetics. Okay. These 5 ascetics, the connection between these 5 ascetics and the Buddha Shakyamuni. For example, say, in this life, if you are somehow connected with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the benefit is tremendous, right? If you have some connection with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where His Holiness gives teaching somewhere. So nowadays, the world of technology, now the world of internet, right? You can receive his teachings directly listen to his teachings directly from the internet, or you can personally attend his teachings. So this link with the holy beings, if you're able to make it, then somehow in your later lives, they will be reactivated, these seeds of the connection. Okay, so how these 5 ascetics, they were connected with the Buddha Shakyamuni, the first human disciples. These 5 were the first human disciples. How come then there were so many? Of course, today there are 7 billion human beings. Of course, in those days, 2,500 years ago, for sure, there were not 7 billion human beings, maybe like 5 billion human beings, or maybe 4 billion human beings, right? There were 4 billion human beings, but the first disciples were only human beings, 5. Why these 5 are so special? Because of the karmic connection with the Buddha Shakyamuni many eons ago. So what happened was that many eons ago, Buddha Shakyamuni was born as a prince. was a prince many years ago. There was not at the time of the King Shuddhodana, the Kapilavastu, right? What's it? Kapilavastu, right? So not up to talk about that. This is just 2,500 years ago. Many thousand millions of years ago. And the Prince Siddhartha, or the Buddha Shakyamuni, way that eon ago, he was born as a prince. And there were 5 demons. There were 5 demons. And the 5 demons, they feed on human blood, human flesh, human bones. And the 5 demons, they were just wandering here and there. Finally, they ended up in the place where the kingdom, which was ruled, which not really ruled, where this prince was living. This prince. Then these 5 demons, usually they feed on they kill the human beings through whatever means. So what they noticed was that the moment they entered this place, this area where this prince was living, they could not harm any human beings. They could not harm any human beings. So they was just wondering, how come that this place is so protected? Then they disguised themselves. These 5 demons disguised themselves as human beings. And then they were just wondering. Then they met the shepherd boy, a boy raising the cows or the animals. And then they asked the boy, is it true that the people of your area, your kingdom, they cannot be harmed by demons, spirits? And the young boy said, yes, nobody can harm. No spirit can harm the human beings in this area, because we have been protected by the compassion of this prince. This prince's compassion is so intense that it serves as a protection dome for all those people who are under the protection of this kingdom. So then the demons, okay, now we are not going to get food if we stay here in this kingdom. So what they did was that, coming to know that this prince was so compassionate, and they were tracking as to what this prince, in what way this prince was compassionate. So they came to learn that this prince every day used to be engaged in charity work, in generosity, giving generosity, engaged in generosity. So they also lined up. So early morning, right from the 6 a.m. around that time, people just queue to get the alms, generosity, whatever they want, the charity from this prince. And the prince was busy distributing, giving charity to the poor people. And these 5 demons also, they also came as a part of the queue. They lined up there, and finally it was their turn. And they met the prince. And the prince said, okay, 5 of you, what do you want from me? In what way I can help you? And 5 of them said, the 5 of them said that the last 1 week we did not have any food. We were very hungry. And instantly the prince was so compassionate, he was just moved into tears, and he instantly ordered his ministers to give food, fruits, and so forth. Then they said, no, we don't feed on fruits. To speak very honestly, we are not human beings, we are demons. We need human flesh, human blood, and human bones. Then the prince said, no, in my kingdom nobody is allowed to harm anyone. Right? Nobody is allowed to harm anyone. So I cannot kill someone and give you. But then he felt so compassionate, they are hungry for the last 1 week. So then another thought came in me. Then he said that he ordered his ministers, okay, bring a knife. Then he cut his own flesh and give them. And then he made a prayer. This prince made a prayer that today I'm feeding these 5 demons with my own body. When I become enlightened, may I feed them with the food of dharma. Right? It is this prayer, this connection that many lifetimes later, right? So when he was born again as a prince Siddhartha and become a Buddha Shakyamuni, so he met with these 5 demons once more in the form of 5 ascetics. Right? So they became the first disciple as this prince said that prayer many aeons ago. This is how the connection works, karmic connection works. Okay. So with this, the point is, the first disciples, these 5 ascetics were the first disciples of Prince Siddhartha. Okay, so now for this 3 turnings of the wheel of dharma, more detail we will go later, not now. What the 3 turnings of the wheel of dharma are, right? Okay, just as a very quick intro. The 3 turns of dharma. The first Buddha Shakyamuni went to Sarnath, Varanasi. Then he gave the first teaching. The first teaching, the subject matter is 4 noble truths. The first teaching was on 4 noble truths. The first teaching. So this is, if somebody asks you what is the first turning of wheel of dharma, what's the first wheel of dharma, you have to say 4 noble truths. Right? Okay. And the place is Varanasi. Then second turning wheel of dharma happened in Rajgir. Rajgir. And the teaching was on perfection of wisdom. Perfection of wisdom. Prajna Paramita. Prajna Paramita. Prajna Paramita. That is the Sanskrit. Prajna Paramita. Perfection of wisdom. That is the teaching. Teaching on the perfection of wisdom. What is that? Second turning wheel of dharma. The place is Rajgir. Right? Okay. Third turning wheel of dharma. The place is Vaishali. Vaishali. And the teaching is that the subject matter of the teaching is the teaching on emptiness of externality. Okay, this is a little technical, it doesn't matter, just note it down. Emptiness of externality. Teaching on externality. Okay, for the time being, as long as you can identify where the 3 turnings wheel of dharma happened and what were the teachings given there, that is good enough. The details we'll study later. Okay, by the way, how many of you have this list of the topics? List of the topics.
On the website.
We all have it, right? Okay, this is okay. So make sure that you know what the topics, what topics are there. Okay. I'm not going to go into detail, right? As to what is the exactly Prajnaparamita Sutra, what is the absence of emptiness, externality, and so forth. So these we'll study later on. Okay, now for the time being, the first turning of wheel of dharma. First turning wheel of dharma, what is the subject matter? 4 noble truths, very good. 4 noble truths. Okay, 4 noble truths. 4 noble truths. First, what are the 4 noble truths, right? What are the 4 noble truths? The truth of the suffering. 1, the truth of suffering. Number 2, the truth of cause of suffering. Truth of suffering, truth of cause of suffering. Number 3, the truth of cessation of suffering. Truth of cessation of suffering. Okay, number 1, truth of suffering. Number 2, the truth of cause of suffering. Number 3, the truth of the cessation of suffering. Number 4, the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Truth of the path, PATH, path leading to the cessation of suffering. Right? The Four Noble Truths. Okay, so before we go into identifying each of these, what these Four Noble Truths are so forth, I'll say one thing which is very important is known as the teaching of the 12 cycles of 12 cycles of the teaching of the Four Noble Truths. 12 cycles of the teaching on the Four Noble Truths. 12 cycles. Okay, what are the 12 cycles? Okay, first truth. The fourth one is the truth of the path, PATH, path leading to the cessation of suffering. Truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Okay, now the Four Noble Truths the Buddha taught during the first turning wheel of Dharma. Which place was that? Sarnath. Varanasi in Sarnath. So when the Buddha was giving teaching on the Four Noble Truths, he taught this in the form of 12 cycles. 12 cycles of teaching on the Four Noble Truths. 12 cycles. And the 12 cycles can be seen in the form of 3 groups. 12 cycles split into 3 groups. Okay, the first one. The first category. The first category is the teaching on Four Noble Truths pertaining to identification. Teaching on the Four Noble Truths pertaining to identification. Pertaining to identification. Okay. Number 2 is teaching on the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the practice. Pertaining to the practice. Teaching on the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the practice. Number 3, teaching on the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the results. Okay, now of the 3 groups, what's the first one? Teaching on the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the identification. Okay, so there it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. What the Buddha said was, this is the first 12 cycles, we group them into 3, each one of them having 4 each, right? So the first group, the Buddha said, this is the truth of suffering. This is the truth of the cause of suffering. This is the truth of cessation of suffering. This is the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. As simple as that. So there, Buddha is helping us to identify what the Four Noble Truths are. Right? Okay. What's the next?
The practice.
Pertaining
to the practice. Very good. Pertaining to the teaching on the Four Noble Truths, pertaining to the practice. So once you identify what the Four Noble Truths are, what should I do now? Right? You have to practice. So what kind of practice? Buddha said, the truth of suffering is to be identified. Right? There should be 4. The first one, the Buddha said, the truth of the suffering is to be identified. Number 2, the truth of the cause of suffering is to be eliminated, to be abandoned. The truth of the cause of suffering is to be abandoned. Number 3, truth of, what's the third one? Truth of the cessation of suffering is to be actualized. Truth of the cessation of suffering is to be actualized. Actualized meaning to be attained. To be actualized. And then finally, the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering is to be meditated upon. The truth of the path leading to the cessation of the suffering is to be meditated upon. Okay, this is the group or the category, the teaching, second group of the teaching on Four Noble Truths. Now what is third group? Third group pertaining to the results. Now the question is, if I practice Four Noble Truths the way the Buddha indicated in the second group, what result will I achieve? What result will I achieve? Then the Buddha said, the third group, although the truth of suffering is to be identified, there's nothing to be identified. Although the truth of suffering is to be identified, there is nothing to be identified. Although the truth of suffering is to be identified, there's nothing to be identified. Okay, number two, although the truth of the cause of suffering is to be abandoned, but there's nothing to be abandoned. Likewise, number three. Now, number three, can you extend it, anyone? Can you extend it to the number three? Although the truth of the cessation of suffering is to be actualized, there's nothing to be actualized. Then finally, although the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering is to be meditated upon, there's nothing to be meditated upon. Right? Okay, these 12 are known as the 12 cycles of the teaching on the Four Noble Truths. Right? Okay. 12 cycles, oftentimes they're also translated as 12 repetitions. 12 cycles or 12 repetitions. Okay, so this is very important. The first one, identifying the what? Four Noble Truths. This is the truth of suffering. This is the truth of the cause of suffering. This is the truth of the cessation of suffering. This is the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. Okay, this is so important. This is so important. Okay, because this is so important, I like to emphasize so much on this part. But I like to go to the second group and the third group today. The first one, it may take us some time, and whatever little time that we get at the end, I'll go to the first one, and then whatever needs to be completed, we'll do it the next session. Okay. The second one. What is in the second group? The practice. So what are the four cycles? Although what is the
Identifying the truth of suffering.
Okay, yes, the truth of suffering is to be identified. The truth of, we said it, what are the four teachings pertaining to the practice? What are the four teachings, tell me? The truth of suffering is to be identified. Then, second one, truth of the cause of suffering is to be abandoned. Number three, truth of cessation of suffering is to be actualized. And then, truth of the path leading to the cessation is to be meditated upon. Very good, okay. So first, the truth of suffering is to be identified. Just imagine, oftentimes, people say that, the Buddhism, which is very, self-denial, right? It only talks about miseries. It only talks about suffering, impermanence. It's true, right? Right? You listen to any teaching, it starts with suffering. How many of you notice that? Huh? Right? You already have suffering, and you go to Buddhist center, they talk about suffering. Right? Okay, so this is where we are getting a very wrong impression, right? So basically the idea is to say what problems that you have when you go to when you turn towards any center, when you turn towards any teacher, any say dharma centers, right? Or say I cannot really represent other religions, right? Because I may not be rightly representing them. But Buddhism, the little I know, I can say that when you turn towards Buddhism, it is not for you to acquire more miseries, right? We are so rich in miseries. Now we don't want extra miseries, right? So we are looking for ways and means to cut down on the miseries. How to get rid of the miseries. So when we go to any center, right? Okay, I have so much of miseries. Please teach me how to get rid of the miseries. This is how we start with this. Started with the what? The Narendra diploma course. Yes. How many of you came to Narendra diploma course? I have so much of happiness. Please teach me how to get rid of happiness. How many of you joined the Narendra diploma course with that intention? I have so much of happiness. Please teach me how to get rid of my happiness. How many of you started? No? Okay. Okay, if this is not the case, then the point is, I have so much miseries. Please teach us how to get rid of the miseries. Is this how you come to, say, any spirituality? You agree with me? This should be the basic intention, right? Okay. Now the point is so therefore, the point is, we speak about renunciation. And this word renunciation is heavily loaded because which people instantly interpret this as self-denial. To renounce good food, to renounce good house, to renounce the good weather in the hill, weather, come to Delhi, right? This is not a connotation. Connotation to renunciation means to renounce your miseries, right? To renounce your miseries. If you are to renounce your miseries, first of all, you have to identify what miseries you have. Right? What miseries you have. Okay, let us explore very quickly. I don't want to go too much into detail, because this is what we're going to do a little later. Right? Go in detail into the first, identifying the four noble truths. That we'll do a little bit later. Just see, to renounce the miseries, we have to first identify the miseries. Okay. Okay, anyone who likes to share with the group here as to what some severe miseries that you have encountered in your life. Anyone who likes to share that very quickly? Anyone? No? You don't want to share? Yes.
Within the family members. Dispute within the family
Dispute.
members.
Dispute within the family members. Very good. Anyone else?
Existential crisis.
Existential crisis like seeking job or
Lack of meaning.
okay. So what is the meaning of life? Why should I live? Okay, right? Very good. Anyone else?
Relationship issues.
Relationship is a huge problem. Yes, relationship issues within the parents and children, amongst the parents, amongst the brothers sisters, amongst the whatever, the relationship. This is a huge problem. Yes, Radhaji.
Short temper.
Okay. Yes, the anger, the short temper, right? The short temper. Yes.
Extreme illness. Extreme illness.
Extreme illness, yes, very true. Okay, so the point is that the Buddha said that first identify what you suffer. Because you say that, before you say that, okay, please teach me how to renounce my miseries. First you have to identify what your miseries are. Once you identify the miseries so well, then you will learn how to get into the miseries. You're getting it? Okay. For that, with pertaining to the practice, Four Noble Truths, with the suffering, the truth of suffering, the Buddha taught what? What should we practice? We should practice to identify what the suffering is. You getting it? So the suffering, say this is actually, if we learn how to identify exactly, precisely what the suffering is, that itself is greatly, greatly healing for us. It's amazing, right? Okay, that we'll do a little later. So with the suffering, we have to identify this. What is the second?
Truth of seriousness of suffering to be actualized.
Second one. What is the second one?
All the suffering
should be abandoned.
to be actualized.
Truth of the cause of suffering is to be abandoned, right? So if you don't want suffering, check the cause of suffering and abandon the cause. Say if there is a poisonous tree, and the poisonous tree gives rise to millions of leaves, poisonous leaves, then the wind blowing through this tree and the leaves, it creates skin rashes on the body, right? And then you come to realize that these skin rashes is because of the wind blowing from the poisonous leaves. So what will you do? Right? You will remove the tree. You will change the tree, right? Okay, right? Okay, let's say, okay, just chop the tree, right? Chop the tree. Okay, you just chop the top tree. Okay, so you are relieved for the next 1 month. The next 1 month, okay, the skin rashes slowly disappear, you are calm, happy, peaceful. Again after 1 month, again the leaves start growing, right? Is this a wise measure? Not really. So what would be a wise measure, tell me?
Pull the tree out of the root,
From the root, but the root did not disturb you, right? Root did not disturb you. Yes, root is under the ground. Wind did not go into the underground, under the ground, and then it creates skin rashes. But
the seed is there.
as long as the root is there, what is on the surface, you cannot stop them. You're getting it? As long as the root is there, even though the root is not directly affecting you, as long as the root is there, the leaves will keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. So somebody who is sensible will look for the root. Your name? Okay, Preeti. Preeti is very sensible, look for the root, right? Okay. So likewise, say if the dampness is there, look for the root. What is the cause of this dampness? Check the cause. The leakage, right? Likewise, you look for where all these poisonous leaves, they're grown from where, right? Okay. So if you keep removing the leaves one by one, after removing like 200 leaves, by the time another 400 leaves will grow. It's just pointless. And then if you chop from the top, for maybe 1 month, you're freed, again the new leaves will grow. Right? Okay. Now the wisest thing to do is to see where it is coming from, to check the root, and then uproot it. Cut the root. The moment you cut the root, however millions of poisonous leaves there are going there, without removing without plucking even a single leaf, they will all dry automatically. You agree with me or not? Okay. If you don't want the miseries, if you want to renounce the miseries, you have to get rid of the root of the miseries. You have to abandon the cause of the miseries. So the second teaching is, the truth of the cause of suffering is to be abandoned. You getting it? Number 2. Okay, what is number 3? Truth of the cessation of suffering is to be actualized. So what do you want? What you want is that your suffering should become zero. That suffering should cease, cessation. The cessation of suffering should be achieved. This is what you are seeking, right? And the cessation of suffering will be achieved only if you abandon the truth of the cause of suffering. The moment you abandon the truth of the cause of suffering, then the cessation of the suffering will be actualized. Actualized means you attain, you achieve the truth of the cessation of suffering. Okay, what is next?
Truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering.
Truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering is to be meditated upon. Then, how can I achieve this? Achieving the cessation of suffering to be actualized. Oh, this is an amazing idea. This is what I'm seeking. But how can I achieve that? It is through meditating the path, meditating on the path which leads me to the cessation. You're getting it? Okay. Now the detail we will go later on. Okay. Now what is what is next one? Results. The teaching on the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the results. Okay. What is the first one? Although the truth of suffering is to be identified, there is nothing to be identified. Okay, so there are the four lines are there. These 4 lines we have to understand in 2 different contexts. These 4 lines we have to understand in 2 different contexts, which is so important. Okay. Okay, 2 different contexts. It may become a little technical. Bear with me. Right? Finally, this is what we have to understand it. 2 different contexts. In the context of the conventional truth, in the context of the ultimate truth. In the context of conventional truth, and in the context of ultimate truth. Okay. In the context of conventional truth means, say, when you, by practicing the Four Noble Truths, identify the truth, identify the suffering, abandon the cause of suffering, actualize the cessation of suffering, and meditate upon the path leading to cessation. By doing this, eventually what happens? All your mental stains will be gone rid off. Once the mental stains are gone rid off, then what happens? Your mind becomes like a sun. The purity comes out fully. Your purity, which exists within you, becomes manifest fully. At that point, you become like a sun. What is sun like? Sun is the one which has the capacity to illuminate every atom of the universe. Right? Sun. Okay. So let's say metaphorically, sun has the capacity to illuminate every atom of the universe. Your mind, when the true nature of your mind comes out, when it becomes manifest, when all the mental stains are removed completely, then your mind becomes like a sun, right? Your mind will have 3 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Your mind will have these 3 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Right? And what is the why do we need these 3 qualities? Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Why do we need these 3 qualities? Right? Okay, tell me, in the first place, why do we want to become enlightened? 1, to remove your own miseries. Number 2, help all beings. You agree with me or not? Yes. If you really want to help all beings, the way the Buddha Shakyamuni demonstrated in his own life, right? His biography. If you really want to help all beings, you should have these 3 qualities. What are the 3 qualities? Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Okay, let's say, why do we need these 3? Say, you're in a school. You're in a school, maybe age, same age what? Class 10, what is the age? 14? Okay, let's say you are age 14, class 10. And then, so your dad tells you that, okay, my daughter or my son, you must study well. If you study well, I'm always there to support you. Right? So you're so happy. You don't study. When the exam is approaching, one week's now from the exam, you have so much intention. Then you go to the father, you suddenly remember what your dad said, and you go to your father. Oh, now after 1 week I have my science exam. Please teach me science. Last time you promised to help me. And the dad says, what is the answer given? He says that, I'm very sorry, I always failed in science when I was in school. So your dad could not help you. Although he wants to help you, he could not help you. Why he could not help you? What is he lacking? He's lacking the knowledge. So if you really want to help others efficiently, your knowledge must be perfect. You must have a perfect knowledge. One. Then the dad says, oh, don't worry, right? My daughter, my son, don't worry. Your next door neighbor is a physics professor. Physics professor, right? I don't have the knowledge, but he's a physics professor. So you say, have you went there, you bang the door. And then you are the physics, hey, what do you want, right? Then you say, oh, I have physics exam, the science exam after 1 week. Please teach me science. So the physics professor said, 5,000 rupees per hour tuition fee. 5,000 rupees per hour. Then what are you going to eat? Right? Even the physics professor cannot help you. Although he has a tremendous knowledge, he could not help you. Why? He could not help you? Because he was lacking love. Your father will never, your father, your mother, they will never ask for tuition fee. Right? Okay. Now, if you really want to help others effectively, you must have perfect love. Right? Perfect knowledge, perfect love. And then you come home and you feel so sad, and you report this to your dad, and your dad says, oh, don't worry. Your mother, although she's not the physics professor, but she was a science topper when she was in school. How many girls are science topper when you're in school? Okay, one here. Okay, she was a science topper while in school, right? And then evening, the mother comes. Mother comes from a school. She was a school teacher. And she went for some school meeting and she ate some stale food. You understand what I'm saying? She ate some stale food. Then she coming home, then you jump into the mother's lap and please teach me science, right? The mother said, please get me away. I have a stomach ache, stomach problem. Even your mother could not help you. Why? She has the love. She has knowledge. She's lacking the power. So therefore, anybody who can efficiently help others, that person must have these two qualities. Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. These three qualities are required. Okay. So with this, the point is that say, when your mind, the true nature of the mind comes out fully, then you become perfected in these three qualities. Once you achieve these three qualities, not only you are protected, you are able to protect all other beings. You're getting it? Okay. So the teaching of the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the result in the two contexts. What are the two contexts? Conventional truth and the context of the ultimate truth. In the context of conventional truth, when you achieve that level, you have, imagine that you've achieved that level where your Buddha nature has become fully manifested, right? Manifested. Okay, now, do you need to identify the suffering again? Huh? Okay, how many of you finished the class 5? How many of you already finished learning 2 plus 2 equals 4? Okay, now you have to learn it again tomorrow. Will you learn again? Why not? Because I already know this. So 2 plus 2 equals 4. This is not, I don't have to learn it anymore. Right? Although that is to be learned by small children, but there's nothing to be learned by me. Because I already learned it. Likewise, although the suffering is to be identified by the suffering people, But those who have already achieved their final goal, there's nothing left to be identified as suffering, because you have already identified all sufferings. You're getting it? Number one. Number two, imagine that you have already reached that level of the perfection, that level of the discovering this ultimate treasure happens within you. Now, do you have to abandon the cause of suffering? Do you have to abandon the cause of suffering?
That's already a bad.
No, you have already abandoned them. So therefore, although the cause of suffering is to be abandoned by the people who are suffering, but because that you have already abandoned, nothing is left now for you to be abandoned. Number two. You're getting it? Okay, what is number three? Hey, what is number three? Although the truth of cessation is to be actualized, but for you, who you? Those who have already achieved that final state, final goal, there's nothing left to be achieved. They've already achieved everything. What is number four? Although the path leading to the cessation is to be meditated upon, but there's nothing to be, nothing left for you to meditate on, right? Okay, same. So this is in the context of what? In which context? In the context of conventional truth. You getting it? Now in the context of the ultimate truth, number two. In the context of ultimate. Okay, this may be a little technical, but if you say, okay, technical, I come for the easy one, right? Deliberately, I waited for diploma course, I skipped the master's course, easy one. Okay, so no, don't give up, right? This is a little technical, don't worry, and eventually you will understand it, right? Not only you will understand it, you'll enjoy it. Okay, so for the time being, it's a little technical. Number three is what? What are we doing now? Don't just say ultimate truth. What is ultimate truth? Make it very, yes. Teaching all the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the result in the context of, please be kind to me, say it instead of me saying it. Say it again. Teaching all the Four Noble Truths pertaining to the results in the context of ultimate truth. If somebody says like this, then my job is done. Right? My burden is less. Okay, now the point is, in the context of ultimate truth, this is little technical. Okay, I'll give you one example, simple example, right? Okay, where I want a pen. Where's the pen? Huh? In your hand, right? Okay, now let's see. Is this a pen? Hey, is this a pen? Okay, don't think that you're big philosophers for the time being. While we are doing the children course, right? Okay. Just imagine who you are, right? Who you are as who you are now. Okay, what is in my hand? A pen. Is there a pen here? Yes, right? This pen. Okay. How do you know that there's a pen there? Tell me. Anyone, quick.
Previous knowledge.
Previous knowledge. By the previous knowledge or anybody else? By seeing this, we can see this. Okay, good point. Which is pen? Which one? This blue one. This was a pen? No, this is a pen. The blue one? No. Remove that. Then this one? This is a pen? I remove that, right? I'm looking for the pen, and you remove the nib. This is a pen. Then the ink, remove the ink. Then just this what? The plastic, huh? Refill. Is it a pen? No, the pen is not there. Okay. Now where is the pen? If I do like this, will you find a pen? If I do like this, you will never find a pen. Right? When will you find a pen? When you define a pen, when you put these all together, right? All together, and then show this is a pen. You're getting it? If you disassemble, what is the proper English? Unassemble, disassemble? Huh? Disassembled, right? If you disassemble all these small parts, then what happens to the pen? Pen disappears. So pen makes sense. Pen makes sense without disassembling it, right? Without disassembling this, then the pen makes. The moment you split into small parts, then the concept of the pen disappears. You're getting it? Okay. So where the concept of the pen makes sense, where the concept of the pen makes sense, this is known as a conventional truth. How the conventionally we call this as a pen, right? Okay, conventional. By the way, tell me, which lane is correct? Right lane is correct, left lane is correct when you drive. How many of you drive? How many of you drive? 1, 2, 3. Okay, those who do not drive, you are spared. Right? Which lane is correct? Right lane, left lane? Left lane is correct. Left lane is correct. Oh, how many agree with the deep, right? Deepa? Preeti. How many of you agree with Preeti ji?
In India it is correct.
Huh?
In India it is correct. In India.
Okay, in India it's correct, right? It's not that which is correct, left one is correct. We cannot say like this. In India, left one is correct. We have to contextualize this, right? Very good. Why in India? Why not in other places? Does it mean that in other places left is not correct?
In some places.
Right.
In some
Or in America,
Right.
right is the correct, left is wrong, right? Okay. Who decides that? The road decides. India road says that you drive on the right. India road says no, you're on the wrong lane. The road says this. Road is the object. He doesn't say this. It doesn't say this. Who decides? Who says this?
Traffic rules.
Traffic police.
Traffic rules.
Traffic rules. Who made the traffic rules? Where are the traffic rules? On the road or in the office?
The lawmakers of the traffic.
Huh?
Lawmakers of the traffic.
Lawmakers of the traffic, they made the rules. Who are the lawmakers of the traffic? People. Okay. So this is how, okay, this is a big problem, right? Traffic rules. Okay, this is a big problem. Traffic rules. Okay. The road doesn't tell you that you are on the wrong right lane or wrong lane. You agree with me? Road, it doesn't matter. For road, it doesn't matter. Even if you drive on the right lane, the road will not tell you anything. But the people will tell you. People is the object of the subject. Road is object of subject. Road is object of subject. Object. The people who create the rule is object of subject. Subject. So which lane is correct? It is not from the object, it's from the subject. Right? When it's from the subject, from the object it's empty. Yes? You remember this? This flower is mine. It means what? Hey, this flower is mine. Preeti, this flower is mine. It means what? It's not yours, right? It's not yours. When I say this flower is mine, it's a nice way of saying it is not yours. If I say it is not yours, you will feel offended very badly. If I say, no, Preeti, this is mine, you will not feel offended. Okay, yes, this is yours. Whereas I say, Preeti, this is not yours, you'll feel offended. But it's a nice way of saying that this is, is mine. Nice way of saying it's not yours. Likewise, traffic rules exist subjectively, which implies what? Traffic rule does not exist objectively. What's the opposite of subjectivity? What is the opposite of subjectivity? Objectivity. So when it is coming from the subject, from the object, it's empty. You're getting it? Okay. So the traffic rules is from the subject, not from the object. And the subject means what? Conventions. People create the convention. People who create the convention? People create convention. You're getting it? Okay, let's say that, okay, in the big meetings, in the big conferences, high-fi conferences, are you allowed to go in the Hawa Chapel? Huh? You're allowed, not allowed?
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Why not allowed? Why? Why the other shoes are allowed? Why not the Hawa Chapel? It's the same. It's to protect your protect your feet, right? Both do the same job. But why Hawa Chapel is not allowed? Why? It's just a convention. It's just a convention, right? Convention means how do people see, oh, this is informal, right? Formal, informal. Who says this? Who says this? Right? Okay, let's say, I think 40 years ago, the pants that you're wearing now, right? If you wear the same pant 40 years ago, you're totally alien. You know? Why? Any idea? Young people don't have the idea. Maybe 40 plus, they have the idea. Well, tell me.
Clothing was different then. People used to wear the different type of.
What type?
Was more of a
Huh? Huh? What pens?
Bottle of ink with a ink to write with.
pajama.
Ink pens.
You are talking
Where we
about
had the
pants.
bottle ink. That's what
No. What I'm saying, what I'm saying is the not the paint, pant.
People used to wear the pajamas, lungis and all.
Huh?
Trousers.
Trousers, yes. Trousers. What you're wearing now? If you were wearing 40 years ago, you were just alien. You're a totally unfashionable person. You getting what I'm saying? What were those people wearing 40 years ago? Huh? Bell bottoms. Okay. Young people, they don't have any idea. Do you know what bell bottom is? Younger ones? Huh? What is bell bottom anyway? By the way, anyone? Huh? At the bottom is shaped like a bell, right? A bell. If you wear it, you will say this, you are outdated. Right? Why bell bottom today, if you wear it, is outdated? Why? Why? What you're wearing today, if you wear it 40 years ago, you are just alien. Right? You have no a sense of fashion. Why?
Again a convention.
Again convention. Just purely convention. But in those days, if you really wear what you're wearing now, in those days, 40 years ago, if you wear it, you will see this as, oh, this is correct or not correct, from the object or from the subject. Actually, it's from the subject, but when you look at it, you will not see it's a subject from the object. Right? So this is so nice. Bell bottom is so nice. By the way, the younger ones have no idea what bell bottom is. Right? You must watch those movies. Well, which movie? Amitabh Bachchan. Right? Okay, when he was superstar. Right? Not now. Okay, so the point is that they're just purely conventional. Of course, this is sophisticated topic. Eventually, we have to learn this. If you don't discover that, there's no freedom from suffering. All problems are because we see the convention as a non-convention. Convention as something objectively real. Then our problems arise. You getting it? Okay, so the whole purpose is to remove all our problems. If you really want to remove all the problems, what we should be doing is, we should see the convention as convention. Should be convention as empty of. Conventions are subjective or objective? Conventions.
Subjective.
Purely subjective. So when conventions are purely subjective, what is subjective? When you see that it's objective real, then the fear arises. The dream is purely subjective or objective? Dreams. Purely subjective, but in the dream, you see the dream as purely objective or subjective? When you see it's objective, then you have the fear in the dream. Fear in the dream goes chasing you. You have so much of fear. Why? Because you see the subjectively existent dream goes as the objectively existent goes. Then the fear arises. All our problems arise because of seeing what is subjectively real as objectively real. Okay, this we have to learn. If somebody does not want to suffer, this is what we have to learn. How many of you don't want to go through suffering? All of us. If you really don't want suffering, this is what we have to learn. If you don't learn this, no matter what, we have to go through suffering. Suffering is invariable, right? Undeniable, invariably arising, imperative. Okay. So the point is, this. We will stop here. We'll stop here. Any questions? One or two questions, because we're just at the right time. Any question that you might have? Okay, one over there at the end.
Yeah, I was wondering if you can
Speak through the mic, please. If possible, introduce yourself with your name, because we are all new to each other.
My name is Kabir.
Okay.
And I was wondering, since we're breaking, I think, for the summer, if there's some kind of a reading list or some books that you may recommend that we could perhaps read.
Okay, good question. So in fact, I think the list is already given. This is already given. There's one book which is very helpful would be His Holiness the Dalai Lama's book, The Kindness, Clarity and Insight. The book, the title is Kindness, Clarity and Insight. That book has many of these, the topics, they are very helpful. Okay, maybe the last question, Professor Meenakshi ji.
The sun side in the ultimate truth. It's not, you do not go into emptiness of externality. Is that
Yes, actually, that's pertaining to the emptiness.
yeah.
I'm here to explain this fully
When
next session. Next session is when? Saturday? Saturday, yes. Okay, so we will turn to the end dedication prayer, page 278. Page 278. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful generous Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as a brave Manjushri and Samadhavadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with a dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones, thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen, arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. Chanju sem jorem boche, magye bandam ge yoroje, ge banyam bane bayam, kone kondo pe maraishu. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect way in the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protective Buddha, Dharma, and the beings in the snowland. With the lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the third of the three jewels. In all my life, never separated from perfect gurus, we enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I could attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, so the suggestion is that because that after the end of May till August for like 2 months, it's the long break there. I would very much encourage you to listen to the recordings once more. Those of you who are already exposed to these concepts, it's fine for you. But for those who are hearing this for the first time, you may think that you got everything from this class, but you listen to them again, you will see that there are many things you missed actually. So I suggest you at least to go through, how many sessions we did thus far? Just 3, right? Just listen to the more grounded you become to listen to these the recordings more, then you see that the sophisticated topics that which we're going to cover later on, you'll find them much easier. So therefore the ground must be laid firm. Okay, so this is one suggestion that I'm making. Okay, see you the next Saturday, the coming Saturday.